Dynamic Ship Simulator 3's most anticipated ship ever is here. The RMS Lusitania is Update 46's headliner ship, and it has not disappointed. In this video, I'll be giving an in-depth tour of this ship and showing off every area from bow to stern, as well as going over all of its details. So before I get into the tour itself, let me quickly go over some of its stats. The Lusitania was made by Saint Yogurt and comes in with a price of 30 million credits, making it the new most expensive ship in the game. She makes 22,800 credits per nautical mile by transporting passengers, meaning she does charters. The Lusitania is tied for the highest income in the game with the Ace Class Ro-Ro, meaning they both make the same amount of income per hour. She has a base speed of 20.3 knots, and on screen now you can see all of the different upgrade speeds and costs. The Lusitania has a pretty good top speed of 25.5 knots. In total, she costs 2,424,000 credits to upgrade completely. And with that basic info out of the way, let's get started with the tour. I'm going to start my tour up here at the bow and work my way down to the stern. The bow of the Lusitania is very cluttered and has a lot of the mechanical stuff. A lot of the stuff down here has to do with anchoring and mooring. Right here you have the anchor crane, and just behind that you have the chains for the anchors themselves, as well as the chain stoppers. A little behind that you have some winches and steam capstans, and just behind those you have the windlasses. And of course you cannot forget the tall forward mast. This mast is actually pretty cool because it has a feature that no other ship has. Walking in front of it, you will see the option to teleport up to the crow's nest. Up here, you are able to look all around the ship. And you can also see that there is a nice little bell. Walking back to the superstructure, you'll be able to find two ladders that allow you to get up to the deck above. This is the boat deck, and all of the lifeboats can be found on it. The Lusitania has 16 lifeboats, meaning she has the most lifeboats out of any ship in the game. To deploy the lifeboats, simply walk up in front of them and press Prepare Cutter. It will then be swung over the side. You are then able to walk over to the left side and press Lower Cutter. It will then start lowering into the water. These lifeboats can of course then be used, but they only have a top speed of 4.2 knots, so they're not exactly fast. And if you do position the cutter back underneath the davit, you will be able to reattach it and pull it up. You can do this by walking over to where the lifeboat would usually be stored and pressing Connect Cutter. You can then go over to the right side of the davit and start holding E to raise the cutter back up. Once it is raised all of the way back up, you can then go ahead and press the Hide Cutter button to swing the lifeboat back over onto the deck. But before we go further back on this deck, I would like to go ahead and go up these stairs and into the bridge. So heading up these stairs will take you just outside of the bridge. And when you come up these stairs, you'll be able to see telegraphs for tugging and for mooring. You can also find the bridge wings with the navigation lights right below them. But now let's head inside the bridge. The front of the Lusitania's bridge has a lot of telegraphs, a binnacle, and just a lot of stuff needed for operating this ship. But at the back of the bridge is the wheelhouse. And in front of it you can also see that there is a binnacle. But since we are at the helm, I think now is a good time to show off its monstrous whistle. So as I'm sure you heard, that whistle sounds pretty insane. In my opinion, it's probably the coolest sounding one in the game. Another thing I would like to mention is that the Lusitania does have an animated rudder. So as you can see, if I turn to my port side, the rudder will also turn. There aren't many ships in the game with an animated rudder, so it's nice to see that the Lusitania does. She is certainly deserving of it. If we take a step outside and go towards the back and head up these stairs, this will take us on top of the bridge. There isn't much up here, however, this front skylight does lead down into the wheelhouse, and the one behind it would lead into the officer's smoking room. Now on the same deck that the bridge is on, you can also find the Lusitania's 4 large red funnels. And standing right next to them, you can really just get a sense of how large they really are. And on this first funnel, you can also find the Lusitania's steam whistle. This top deck is covered in lots of cowl ventilators, hinge top ventilators, water tanks, skylights, and just a lot of different mechanical things. It is quite cluttered, but it does look really cool. Coming back down to the boat deck, you are able to walk almost all of the way to the stern of the ship. And all of the way down, you can find the beautiful doors and windows leading inside. But before I go all of the way back, I would like to take a second to quickly check out the lower promenades. Heading down these stairs will take you onto the deck below. You are then able to walk along this long promenade. There isn't necessarily a lot down here, but it does look very nice. You are also able to take these stairs down one more deck. This will take you down to the main deck and another long promenade. At the end of this one though, there is this really cool big window with doors built in, and this promenade can be taken all of the way down to the stern. Before we go any further back on the ship, I would like to take us back up to the boat deck. That is because at the back of the main superstructure, you can find the first class Verandah cafe. This cafe is super pretty. Inside of it, there are multiple tables with 4 chairs at each one. There's also 2 benches against each of the side walls. And one thing I'm sure that you can probably notice is that the cafe does actually have potted plants all around it. Plants are something that are really not found on DSS ships, so it's pretty cool that they appear here. This cafe has a lot of nice wooden features. You can really appreciate the wooden paneling on the walls and the wood pillars, and also the roof just looks really good too. Outside of the cafe, you can also find these pretty cool cargo cranes. Now the Verandah cafe is at the very back of the main superstructure, and so with that out of the way now, it does mean we finished seeing that part of the ship. That means it is now time to move back to the aft superstructure. This aft superstructure is where the second class accommodations can be found. To get to the top deck of the aft superstructure without going all of the way down and then back up the stairs, you can take this nice little gangway that connects the 2 superstructures. One of the cool things you can find up here are these benches that are kind of enclosed with a sort of half covering. The top deck of the aft superstructure has some cargo cranes, some ventilators, some skylights, and also the docking bridge. This bridge could be used while docking or maneuvering in ports to allow for whoever is maneuvering the ship to have better visibility of the aft of the ship. On top of it, you can see a binnacle and an engine or a telegraph, however there is no helm. The helm would have been found in this room below, however it has not been modeled. This means that there is no way to actually control the ship from back here. Going 1 deck down, there really isn't a whole lot. This deck is pretty much just empty. The deck below is also almost the same story, however there is a steam capstan and some other mechanical stuff behind it. And all of that leads us to the very stern of the ship. The stern has some bollards, steam capstans, a large winch, a skylight, and this large awning support structure. And with that being said, that does mean we have now seen the entirety of the Lusitania. However, she does also have 3 skins, and I will be showing those off now. Something to keep in mind is that the only thing these skins change is the livery, with the exception of a couple small additions on one of the skins that I will mention when they appear. Other than that one skin that adds a couple of small things, the only changes made are to the liveries. These skins can be purchased for 15 Robux, or of course are included in the all ship skins game pass. The first skin, Mercy, takes the Lusitania and applies a hospital ship livery to her. Note that this is not a skin of her sister ship, Mauritania, who did actually serve as a hospital ship, but rather simply a technically fictional version of Lusitania in a hospital livery. This livery changes many parts of the ship to white, including most notably the hull, but also things such as the anchors, ventilators, and skylights. The 4 red funnels have now also been painted yellow, and there's a green line passing through the middle of the hull with 3 red crosses painted incrementally. This skin is very pretty and very cool, and provides the first hospital ship to the game. The next skin, Sea Trials, makes some more subtle changes. This skin changes the funnels to a slightly more orange color and changes the bow color to be white instead of black. The final skin, Greyhound, is certainly one that makes quite a few changes. The superstructures have all been painted light gray, the funnels are black, and a yellow stripe has been painted across the superstructures. The exterior of the bridge, excluding the front, has also been painted brown, and the masts have been painted a beige color along with some objects on the deck. Lastly, 2 lookout posts have been added, one above the bridge and one behind the first funnel. The skin looks really awesome and certainly a bit intimidating. But with the Greyhound skin out of the way, that does mean I have now covered all of the skins, and that also means I have shown off everything about the Lusitania. This ship is absolutely amazing, and it's so awesome to finally have in game. If you did enjoy this video, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. For anyone who may be interested, my Discord server is also linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later. Bye!